Hello there, Chris here from Becker's Model Aircraft. I've got a review for you today. Why am I showing you this kit when I've got so many others on the bench that I want to get stuck into? Well, I picked this up last weekend at the Queensland Model and Hobbies Expo. Model Nerds, my good mate Tony Clark was there, Model Nerds, and he had two of these. And one of my top subscribers, Brad, I finally got your name right, Brad, he bought one as well. We were there together, we both saw he had two there in stock, we grabbed one each and we ran off with them. So Brad, this video is for you, to show the world you've got good taste, because I got the same kit and I'm actually really keen to build this, even though, where's the label, where does it say Modelcollect? Oh, here, Modelcollect. Not a fan. I started one of their sort of weird what if 1946, I can't remember, Kaiser Kafer or something. It's a piece of junk. The kit's terrible. I've seen a couple of them built. They need a lot of work. So I'm hoping this doesn't need a lot of work. They make the B2, which is very similar to this thing. And what is it? Well, it's a Horten, apparently. It's a 1/72nd scale Horten, super long range strategic bomber. So it's a what if thing. You know, it was supposed to be made. It's got 6 engines as opposed to the 2-engine Horten 229, which was made. And I have made a couple of them. I've made one at 72nd scale. I've got a 48 scale Dragon kit, and I've got the 132 QMHE kit. I really like the flying wing. It's a very elegant design. So this is it's not completely speculative, but it's done under their Fist of War badge, or whatever that means. Some sort of series. But anyway, I'm waffling as I want to do. Let's have a quick look in the box. I might actually start to do a full dry fit of this, see how much time I've got, see how long before the elephants upstairs decide to mess up my filming schedule. So let's get to it and have a look inside the box. Retail price for one of these, I don't know. Brad and I got these really cheap, $50. Thank you, Tony. So yeah, you can get them on Lucky Model. I've seen them there, you know, the Hong Kong based one, for about the same plus shipping. So you're probably looking at $70 or $80 landed. I think retail in the shops are a little bit more than that, obviously. So what do you get? Well, you get this is really interesting. You get a beautiful decal sheet, decal sheet. It says it's made by Cartograph. I'll show you that in a minute. There's no decal layout in the instructions. They don't tell you where to put them, unless, you know, like I said, I got this second hand. So unless then, you know, there was a separate sheet in there, but I can't find anything. I went online looking at instructions. There's nothing there. Very simple instructions. I love what's on the back. I don't know if you can see that. The Avenger, the A12, they've been promising this kit for a few years now. They've got a few what-if sort of boxings of it as well, but I'm really interested in that. And I would absolutely get 2 of them, one to do in flight, one to do wheels down, wings folded on the deck, because it's such an amazing aircraft that unfortunately never came to be. And there's the B2. They do the B2, which I've heard and I've seen builds online, a bit sketchy. Yeah, it can fit, but you need a lot of work. So what do you get in the box? Let's have a very quick run through, and then I'll just tighten up here so you can see. Single clear sprue, literally just one canopy. There's no masks involved, but that's not too hard to mask up if you can see the frames there. We'll have a look at that better. The sprues all look individually in these cellophane ones. Okay, so there's doors and landing gear there. We don't give a hoot about that. 6 engines, and you'll find out later, all these wheels, and you'll find out later, unless you've got the engine bays open, you can't see diddly. There's all the intakes, unfortunately with projection pin marks. You're seeing glare off my camera, aren't you? So I'll take these out of the box in a second. The main parts that are out of the bags, the main parts that are relevant to us here today are these, and these are the ones I might actually have a stab at actually putting together, see if it actually fits. I want to first have a look at the markings, because that's important. And oh, we're upside down, Miss Jane. Here are the decals. Here's the decal sheet, decal sheet. They look really lovely. They're Cartograph, so you know they're going to be lovely. You can see them nicely there. I'll try to keep it out of the glare. It says they're screen printed by Cartograph, made in Italy. They're all numbered nicely. The walkway lines look amazing. There's even some work numbers there that look authentic. The font looks correct. I'm just going to look around at the carrier film. I mean, there's barely any carrier film. These are going to be lovely decals, water transfers. The problem is, they don't tell you where to put them. Now, unless, like I said at the start, unless there's a separate sheet that's supposed to come with this, I've checked online, it doesn't seem to be. This is all you get. This one colour sheet at the back explaining a very fictitious you know. There's a few things there, like the 614 on the spine there. I can see a 614 here, and obviously there's the Balkan Kraus, the thingies, and there's some fake swastika there. So you got to put them together. Don't get started on that debate. It's not worth the time. So I don't know where it all goes. I mean, I can see a little bit of walkways here, there, and so that's the first letdown in this kit. Unless I'm incorrect, and unless there actually is some sort of separate sheet, who knows where you put the decals. Instructions. You want to have a quick look through the instructions. Okay, the instructions got a nice sprue map at the start there, but there's not that many sprues, and mainly duplicates. A box type arrangement for the cockpit. So already this kit fails because it doesn't have any seated pilots, and it also fails because it doesn't have any. It doesn't have a flight stand, so it's unbuildable. Don't buy it. Move on. That's what I say to 98% of all the kits out there, unfortunately. Anyway, moving on. So you build up the engines, 6 engines, 6 inlets. They all look like they're different because they would be because of the geometry. You can see that over there. So that's going to be fun. I've already seen it within the bag. There are ejection pin marks that you have to fill. Probably don't need to fill too many. And you'll see in a second, there's the landing gear boxes that go to the underside. There's the engines and the inlets going to the top side. I think I just had a tree fall down in my yard. The chooks are going crazy. The ducks are having a bit of a say. So anyway, where was I? Yeah, so there's the engines going in, sandwiched together with a cockpit over here. Landing gear. Can you hear the ducks go off? Bloody ducks. Landing gear looks fairly simple, even though there's quite a multi-wheel thing going on. Now, here's the interesting thing. I might zoom in for this one. If those ducks will shut up, they've got all these doors that are capable to be opened. So, you know, if you display this wheels down on the bench with all the wheels open, all the doors open, you're going to need a mirror, which is very realistic, of course, to actually see any of this. It doesn't sort of make sense to me. Because these doors, I mean, they've all got hinges on them. It looks like they can be closed. I'm going to do this in flight, because why would you do it any other way? And have it banking. It'll look fantastic. So anyway, the struts here, there's the Bombay. They give you a single big bomb there, and 3 pieces, unfortunately, but it wouldn't be that hard to clean up. Moving forward, so yeah, there we go. Put the landing gear in, and then they want you to build the center section first, and then attach the wings, and it's very simple. Flaps and ailerons there going on. Flaps and ailerons, make a one-piece wing, and then just shove them together and hope to God it fits. Yeah, that'd be interesting. I don't think it's going to work out that way. So let's just have a quick look at the parts. And I might get my sprue cutter out and a bit of tape, and we'll tape this little thing up and see what it looks like. So after sorting out my ducks, got all my ducks in a row, they're all fine now. I'm just having a look. I had a quick look at all the surface detail in these small sprues first, and I'm quite impressed actually. Let's see if you can see some of those wheels have actually got, I mean it's too fine to see, but some of them have actually got markings in them. I'll just point out with my new knife, almost like tyre. You know, Dunlop or whatever they use, the Nazis use for their tyre. I mean, yeah, the detail on the tyres are actually quite good. I'm impressed. There's a little bit of flash here and there. It looks like they're moulded flat, or that could just be flash, if you can see on that one. These engines, so there's 6 engines, so 2 halves. The detail's okay. You're not really going to see much there. I mean, if you wanted to add some wiring, I think it's got a good basis for it. And so do these nozzles. There are little bits of flash here and there. I'll show you on the next sprue. So here's the inlets and some of the nozzles. You can see, look, there's a fair bit of flash on these pieces that are harder to mould, so all the ones that are sticking out. But I must admit, the detail is quite good. Have a look at the instrument panel here, under my fat finger. Can you see that? That looks quite nice. I think that's going to come up well, and also that central control panel. You might be able to see a fair bit of that because the clear part is nice and clear, and it's big. So yeah, the seats seem to be really tall for 172. They look more like 148 scale seats, so I don't know about that. The engine blades for the fan, what are you going to call them? The inlet fans, compressor fans, whatever. They look quite nice and crisp and sharp. Landing gear. I think this is what landing gear looks like. I don't know. Does anybody build wheels down anymore? Why would you do that? That looks pretty good too. Nice and robust. yeah, here's some more side panels here. So I'm actually quite impressed with the detail. There's the bomb, 2 halves, should be easy to clean up the seam and fix that up, make it nice and dirty. There's the top turret. I did see, where's the gun sprue? There's a sprue, here's the sprue with all the, let's move this out of the way. The sprue with all the boxes. Now the only thing that's unfortunate, there's all the doors, the landing gear doors and the engine bay doors. There's no detail on the outside. The inside's great. They've got all these sort of ribbing and so forth there. You can see there in the light. I would, if you're going to close it up, even if you didn't close it up, I'd just run the riveter over there and just put a line of rivets on the outside, because I'll show you in a minute, the external riveting on this is actually very, very nice. I'm very impressed. Yeah, so we've got the landing gear bays there, the insides there, looking pretty good. And there's the cockpit tub with the sort of, don't know what sort of surface that is there, but that looks quite lovely. Yeah, the gun, the twin, what is it, 30mm cannon or whatever, they don't give you any information on what it is. That sits in that turret, there it is up there. No slide moulding, so they're solid ends, so you have to drill them out to make them look like cannons, or you might want to replace them with some brass ones. I'll have a look into that. So yeah, not too bad. I mean, this is looking really nice. So just do the clear parts next, so you can get a good idea of, it's moulded well. They've got all the attachment points under the rails, not next to them, so they should come off quite well. Have I got a bit of a scuff on mine? Yeah, there is, unfortunately. There's a scuff there on one of those panels, and that, is that a crack? That looks like a crack. Oh, that's a shame. Might be able to polish that out. Can you see that? There's a little crack or something in there. It was in a plastic bag, but it's fairly, little bit of distortion. That's because it's nice and bubbly. That should still be okay. I think if we give that a polish or two, or if you want to dip it in future or whatever the hell you do these days. So anyway, let's look at the fuselage pieces. So hopefully you can see in the light there, lots of attachment points. Look at all the attachment points. Not too bad. There's actually rivets. There's rivets along all these panel lines. Hopefully the camera can pick that up. Can you see those? That's quite nice, and they're very, very crisp, and the panel lines are nice and thin. They're in scale for 172. Very smooth surface. It's not like a mottled like Zvezda do some of their kits, or some of the other non-mainstream ones. So here's the top with the engine outlets. You've got rivets all the way on the outside, so you can really get some nice detail going on this. Panel lines start to get a little bit not as crisp as we go around the curve there as it comes out, but actually over here it's pretty good. There's no flash on these pieces. These are really, really, really nice. So yes, you can see the clear piece goes over like that. You're going to see quite a bit of the cockpit. So yeah, so we've got this lip either side that the wings sit on. That's what I'm going to test next. I'll just show you one of the wings because they're all pretty much the same. Again, you've got some nice rivet detail along each panel line. I can't see any sink marks because usually there's a sink mark going along the trailing edge or even the leading edge. That looks like a sink mark, but it's not. That's actually a cooling stream where the plastic is ejected into the mold. If I turn that over, you can see it there, and there's another one. So they've used massive ejection pin marks. Well, these are posts. There's a post there for attachment, but that's an ejection pin mark. Have a look at it. Yeah, it looks like a dog's you know what. But all the ejection pin marks on the inside, whereas with the inlets, you're going to have to... Have I shown the inlets? I thought I did. Yeah, I did. The way I would do these inlets, just flip that over. There's quite a few of them. There's 3 in each, 2 in these ones. They're quite shallow, so all I would do is just sit here with a little tub of super glue mixed with metallic pigment, or just get some black super glue and just dab, 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 dab. Take you 5 minutes, super glue will go off, and then just a thin sanding stick and you should be fine. You're really not going to see them, they're quite deep. Yeah, so there's no ejection pin marks on here. Like I said, that's nice and smooth. No sink marks. The detail looks nice. The couple of undercut sprue gates here, which is good, which means you won't ruin the leading edge. And there as well. So that's actually really impressive. I'm very happy with that. So I think I'll do the right thing, and let's cut a few of these parts off and see if they actually... Well, here's the big beastie all taped up, the major parts put together, and it has been my suspicion that doing it the way they recommend, which is to put the 2 wing halves together and then gluing them to the central body, it's not going to work. There's too much movement and flex and stuffing around on here, and while the time you've got, see, look at these trailing edges come together like that, it's the shape of this airfoil will change as you glue and stiffen things up, because there's nothing else in there apart from the ailerons and the flaps to put in those wings. And I'll see if I can do this on camera, because like I said, it's quite a big beastie. You know, you can either have a nice seam on that side and a pretty dodgy one on the other side. You know, to get that airfoil shape correct, and once you've got all the engines and everything inside, that's fairly stiff, but this is not. The way I would do this, it makes much more sense to do it, is do a complete top half. So I would glue the port wing to the fuselage, starboard wing to the upper fuselage, and then same on the other side, the halves, okay? And then fill the seams, get it nice and stiff. You might want to put, I mean, that lip's okay, but I would put another edge. I would put some straps in there to strengthen that joint as much as possible, make it as stiff as possible. Let it all go off, install the cockpit, install the engines, the landing gear, and then glue the two bits together, because it'll be easier to get that one edge on that side, and here of course as well. I believe this is going to be okay. It's like, I'll show you my little Revell Horten. The gap there is not too bad. It might just need a bit of thinning out to get that to be nice and crisp. It should be really a fine edge. This side looks like it's okay, but again, there's a lot of stuff going on here. There's posts and things down the middle, and I wouldn't rely on those posts for alignment. I might even cut them off, and yeah, like I said, bringing these two together, once you've got a unified top piece and bottom piece, makes much more sense. Now, unfortunately, it looks like there's this seam line. Does that actually exist? I don't know, because it looks like they could have. Look, there's another one, only 5 mil to the left and right of that, where the wing joins. They could have eliminated that one and then put a line of rivets on that side and just say, oh, that's the actual seam line. So don't know what to do with that. Do you fill it or do you leave it? I'm tempted to leave it and just add another set of rivets and just make that appear to be a big structural spar. That makes more sense to me. It's just being able to replicate those rivets, because yeah, this can be a pain to fill those two lines. But besides that, I think this could go well. And here, bring in my little 172 Revell Horten. This is the 229, so you can see the shape's the same. It's just a single seater with 2 engines. So this is the six cylinder one. That's how I've displayed it on just a simple block of wood with a few diagrams that I got online, printed them out and just painted an off-white sort of colour, make blueprints. I'd probably do the same with this one, because I think in flight this is going to look lovely. And see if I can do this. No, yes, come on, we're getting to the end of the video, Chris. Let's get these things moving. Yeah, I'd have it nice and banked off the table like that, going around. I don't know if I would use the recommended. The box art looks quite nice. It's very attractive, but maybe something more akin to the brown, violet, and the green, or something. I don't know, something a bit different. Anyway, I hope that's helped with if you decide to get one of these Modelcollect kits. Like I said, not too au fait with them. Not too. It's a bit of a leap, a bit of a gamble, I would suggest. Like if you're interested in their B2, I mean, it's a monster. It's even bigger than this, I believe. Yeah, well, maybe it might be it's the same size. Actually, I'll have to check that. I would suggest go in with a bit of caution. Take your time. Take some effort into getting the fit just right. I'm tempted to keep going with this one, but I've got so much on the bench, so I won't. Sorry, Brad. Brad, you have a go at it. As I said at the start, Brad, he bought one of these alongside me. It's identical. If I was him, yeah, well, I don't know, if I was anyone, you know, I would actually just start a kit and finish it, not start another one, because I've already got 2 on the go at the moment. I said to myself, I only have 1. Anyway, I'm prattling on. Would I recommend this kit? No, I don't recommend this kit. I think you should only do this if you can get it super cheap, and if the effort involved results in a failure, well, you know, that's the end of the day. Or I would get this one if you're fairly experienced and you know how to do a little bit of scratch building, a little bit of structural strength. You know how to not follow instructions, as it were, to deviate from them, and to be very, very patient. I would not slap this together. I mean, this is an almost 60 centimeter wide aircraft, okay? So I would not recommend it for the average person on the street. But if you want to give something like this a go, and put it up in the air where it belongs, like on the box art, have a go at it. But with that, I'll leave you to it, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.